Hey everyone, welcome to The Lonely Dragon. I'm Edwin Perez.
I'm Joanna Gaskell, and we are here with Eric Fell. Eric Fell has been a guest many times on our show. Eric, yeah, and now he's back to talk about our favorite thing ever, DMing. Dungeon mastering.
That's what it stands for.
That's what it.
We're not talking about direct messaging people.
No, not direct messaging.
No.
Although, if you have any tips about that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I do actually have a tip. When you're on Twitter and you're talking about your DM, don't start the tweet with the letters DM, because then you just wind up direct messaging someone.
Good tip.
Good. That is actually a really good tip.
And you've actually got some tips for us now about dungeon mastering.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you who have been a DM, or those of you who want to DM, there's a lot of great tools out there that you can use. Some of them are very complex and expensive, and some of them are super, super basic. Myself, I prefer all the basic stuff. I'm a very improvisational dungeon master, and that's actually my first tip: is take an improv course. Seriously, the link between improv and role-playing games is very, very strong. And if you, it would not hurt to take an improv course, even with your gaming group.
Cool.
Because
I didn't even think of that, but it's a fantastic idea.
Because that's all you're doing. Because the main principle to improv is accepting an offer and building on it. You're just saying yes and whatever. And that really, really helps, and it makes games a lot more fun.
And really, I mean, you can plan a game as much as you like, but as soon as the players actually step into the game, it always changes. So you're going to have to be improving anyway. Exactly.
And that's why I like to have the sort of bare minimum of things, because it's never going to go the way I want it to. And you know what? That's why we do this instead of play video games.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, if someone said, if there's right or left, and someone says, well, I'm going to shrink and go into the grate, then that's what happens. But yeah,
so what do you got in front of you here?
My favorite things that I use for DMing is the flip mat. Now, this is made by Pathfinder. I'm sure there are other manufacturers, but Pathfinder is the brand that I use. It's very, very basic. It's got 1-inch squares on it. If you're doing squares, I'm sure you can get hex ones too. And then it works with this, the dry erase pen. And that's it. That's really all you need if you are using, if you're playing a game that requires minis. So, tactical ones like Pathfinder, 4th edition, Savage Worlds, stuff like that. My other favorite toy is the index card.
Wow, innovative.
Yeah.
It's a new thing.
It's crazy.
Dry erase markers, index cards, this is crazy, man.
I go nuts at the staples. Yeah, and I just, write down the little notes for when I prep a game. I ran a 4th edition session, which was, was it 19 hours? Because we did 2 encounters. No, it was, it was like 2.5, 3 hours. And there were 3 encounters, and this was my prep. That was it. I got a lot of my tips from a book called The Lazy Dungeon Master by Mike Shea. I highly recommend it for anyone who wants to, DM with about 15 minutes prep time.
Oh, Eric, there's mustard stains on this.
Yeah, well, I have a scoop of Good Luck mustard before every session. Don't you?
Good Luck mustard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets the adrenaline going.
It does. I call it dungeon mustard.
Of course.
And of course, I recommend that you always have a notebook with you to just write down an idea, for an adventure hook or something.
For sure, yeah. Or during the game, there's always a bunch of things to keep track of, and if you don't have a pencil and paper that's really, really handy, then you are going to regret it, because you'll totally forget.
Yeah.
So many things to keep track of.
And I've actually got like a smaller notebook in my notebook that is graphs.
Nice. So very nice. Grid paper.
Yeah, I can do little maps when I'm bored or whatever.
Huh.
Just have them handy.
Cool. Now we've got a few other interesting helper bits and pieces for GMs on the table here.
Yeah, we've got some dungeon tiling right here.
Yeah, which are really useful.
Your dungeon.
You got, again, 1-inch squares. Really, really easy to use. You can plop them down anywhere. Something like this one is usable for anything, like a room or a hallway or a dungeon. There are some more specific ones. This guy is a pond or a pool. But yeah, they're really useful.
Yeah,
I like those.
This is a spiked pit.
There you go, spiked pit.
But on the other side, a tiny floor. If you need
which you don't realize falls through to make a
you never really know. Right here. Look at this. Look. Oh my god.
There's no grate.
And then suddenly, boom, it's a trap. No, oh, no, now you're at the bottom of the well. See that? Levels. It's all levels.
Yeah. Now, I've used these before. And I found myself, because I suffer from something called decision paralysis, that when I get all the dungeon tiles out, I don't know what the hell to do. I really don't. I just...
Well, one of the things that that's definitely a negative for these dungeon tiles is that you can't actually draw on them with your whiteboard markers. I, again, like Eric, am a huge fan of the whiteboard markers and the fold-out map because it's really easy to adjust things, change your mind, draw things quickly. These are really gorgeous and really sturdy. They're really awesome, but you do have to have a plan if you are going to use them. If you're the kind of, improv DM who doesn't have a huge plan, then probably the flip mat with the whiteboard markers is going to be a little easier for you.
When I've used those, what I do is I build the thing in advance, take a picture.
Hey, good idea. That's a fantastic idea.
And if you're into the digital stuff, Evernote is an amazing tool for a DM. To just like put stuff in your phone and just lump it all into different categories, and you can actually get notebooks like this where you can that are Evernote notebooks, and it's really
and then Evernote can sync to all of your devices too, so you can work on it at home on your computer and then basically send it to your phone. You're at the game, you can flip it open and take a look. So
That's cool. What else we got here? We've got some cards happening, items.
Yep, adventure gear cards,
gear.
which are
Very
useful.
cool.
I mean, if you're the kind of DM who wants to hand people what they're getting. You find some rope kind of thing. Sometimes visual cues can be really nice for players.
And what you can even do is you can shuffle the deck. So if you're looting a corpse or something like that, oh, what do you find here? There's 3 items on this guy. There's a candle and a bedroll and a bottle of wine. That sounds like a party.
So really easy.
It totally does, actually.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm going to keep these. Thank you.
These are by Paizo, is that right?
These ones are. Yep.
Yeah.
You can get other ones, but these ones are Paizo. Yep.
And Paizo also makes things called face cards. And they're like these, but they're just different faces. And I use that for my NPCs.
Right.
So in other words, where you walk into a tavern and you see that person, and I don't even see the face until it comes up, and then everybody laughs because it's usually something silly, and then I just put a dumb voice on it.
Well, then all of a sudden the NPC becomes somebody real. Because that's one of the problems that sometimes you can have with a game is that your NPC is kind of faceless, kind of doesn't have a personality. The players don't know how to interact with that person. All of a sudden, that person has a face and a gender and
Or oftentimes what happens is that, you haven't really planned anything around this encounter and they walk into a place. Oh, I'm going to go into that building. Well, there's somebody in that building. Who are they? And you got to come up with somebody on the fly. Boom. A card says who it is. And you can totally build a story off of face.
Yeah.
Right? There you go.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So these are a couple other. Have you seen this before? The NPC
Yes,
Codex?
I have. I think it's super useful.
Yeah. No, they're this was. The NPC Codex was a book that was put out also by Paizo. And we're promoting a lot of Paizo stuff. They do make a lot of good stuff. They're not the only people out there who do, but they do make a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
And the NPC Codex basically presents you with a huge amount of NPCs.
Yeah. Boom. Open it up.
A whole lot of different levels. Like we just opened up to page, where there's like a, 16th level.
Yeah, all the stats,
character.
everything is provided for you. A backstory to the character, so you can incorporate it into your game.
Yeah, and I mean, you can use the stat blocks if you're running Pathfinder. If you're running a different game, you can just use the backstory and the personality.
And that's the thing. A lot of these things you can totally use, regardless of what system you're playing in.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It's like game ideas.
They come with little models. So I mean, little stand-up paper models that have little stands that you can use. So again, this isn't one of your cheaper options. They do cost a little more. Obviously, the book and the box are going to cost you a little more. But again, great tool.
But visuals make a huge difference in the game.
They really do make a huge difference. And I use the box with all the monsters in it myself. That they make.
The bestiary box.
The bestiary box or bestiary box, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Once again, it's edition free. It's got the monsters. And it's really, really useful, I think, to get a good idea of what that creature is. Because sometimes I don't even know what a creature is, and it's like, oh, that's what a Gorgon is in this.
For sure. Yeah. I also want to do a quick shout out to these awesome people. I know you can't see this. This is a dice ring. The guys at Crit Success make these. They're totally awesome. You can get these rings, and I'm going to spin it right now. Okay, that was me actually rolling a d20. Right there, I rolled a d20, and I got a 12. So not bad. Not bad. Yeah, they make these. You've got one that does...
I've got one. I have two.
Yeah,
I've got
two.
the d20, and I've got an alignment one that comes with 2 bands that spin, and you can just choose an alignment based off of that.
Yeah. Nice little randomization sort of thing. Yeah, so...
Well, we're out of time.
That's a few tips for you.
But I hope that was helpful for you guys, and that you see us here next time on Lonely Dragon. Eric, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for all the great tips. Yeah.
Thanks.
Have fun gaming.